If you want to improve your screen time management, not just for yourself, but for the family, then what you can do is you can set up a family workstation. So you introduce this workstation somewhere in the living room, for example, where you now have to schedule when a family member is able to use the desktop or a laptop with a wired keyboard, so you're not in front of the screen so closely. So it's up to you then, or the family, when a family member can use the workstation and then for how long. So that's an advantage. You're not able to use that system for 5 hours straight because other family members also want to use the device. This only applies when you make this workstation the only device to use the internet. Doesn't mean that this rule is active 24/7, but I can imagine that sometimes you just want to implement the rule of if someone wants to use the internet, then you have to use that workstation, which is in the living room. So you have more control as a parent when you have children, because you will know what kind of activities they are focusing on. Are they visiting any inappropriate websites? Are they engaging in conversations with strangers? You will have more control. And again, another advantage is that you're just not going to use the internet mindlessly because the clock is ticking. There is a timer. If you use a laptop, you want to make sure that you use a wired keyboard so you're not too close in front of the screen. Children are receptive to specific detrimental effects of man-made EMF radiation. There is still a lot of research that is being conducted, and we don't really know for sure what the exact detrimental effects are, but we know that children are more receptive to such effects. And effects can be behavioral changes or cognitive impairment. So there's a lot of advice being given regarding Wi-Fi, that you do not want to have this Wi-Fi enabled 24/7 when you have children. That's why it is unfortunate that schools have Wi-Fi enabled. That's why at home you might want to be more careful. That's why you do not want to walk with your phone by your side 24/7 the whole day, because Wi-Fi is enabled. You want to disable Wi-Fi when your phone is with you so much. So you really want to be careful how you treat Wi-Fi, but that's for a different video. But if you use a desktop, then use a wired keyboard. And another tip connected to this whole topic of Wi-Fi and radiation is try to connect to the internet with a cable. Don't use the Wi-Fi. That's another advantage when you introduce a workstation in the living room, that now it's easier to connect to the internet with a cable instead of using Wi-Fi. So that's another reason actually for you to get rid of this whole Wi-Fi system, because now you can access the internet, which is connected with a cable, and that will then be the only place where a family member can utilize the internet. It's a drastic strategy, but you can implement it, especially if you clearly see that the family is suffering from excessive screen time, whether it's social media, games, doesn't matter. By introducing this idea of a workstation for a family, you have to now manage your screen time better, because there's only one station and everyone wants to use the internet.